Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube. Or welcome back. This is your final Doom Patrol episode review. I really hate this year. I really do. Where we've said goodbye to so many great shows this year. Whether it's stuff that we reviewed week by week, season by season, or just in general. We lost so many great shows this year. It's usually just because, the times are changing. The networks change priority. Streaming's changed priority. The strike kind of fucked things up a little bit. We lost so many shows this year. We really did. And Doom Patrol being, I think, the last show, at least for me, hopefully. I don't know what the next 2 months are going to bring, but, this is the last final season show that I'm watching and reviewing this year. It hurts. It really does. Where you never really understand that it is the last episode until you remember, shit, this is the last episode. And honestly, this episode is not perfect. I kind of knew that. There is a couple flaws, and, obviously, whether or not this was ever to be pitched as the final season, or it was just, a last minute, we're kind of having to, tee this up somehow. Regardless of how that all went, this episode was really, really, really great. I think this was a very serviceful, very tasteful, an understandable finale. Because this is the Doom Patrol. This is not your traditional TV show where, things are allowed to be a little different. Where at the end of the day, this is the ending of this story. And it feels very finite, where as much as the language they used throughout this entire episode was this is the end of a chapter, and we just go forward from there. I do believe this is, this is the conclusion of the story. They left nothing unturned. There is no revival. There is no, maybe a wink and a nod. No, the story of these characters will live on in the form of our imaginations. We can only hope and, hope for the best for the characters. But at the same time, it feels right that this felt like the finale Doom Patrol needed. It's not perfect, but it is the finale it needed. It definitely accomplished everything that it needed to for its characters to give us, the viewers, a very much of we're at peace here, that we know they can go now. Obviously, this is not the end of DC TV as you know it. We still have Superman Lois ending next year, but this feels like an ending too, where this experimental stuff, these D, E, F listers getting their own property and having an avenue to tell their story. As much as the story has not been perfect, it's definitely been very much a very worthwhile journey, and this episode pays all kudos to everything from then and now. That's a pun intended for the Beatles, which also released a fantastic song in the last couple of weeks. But yeah. With that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap for the last time for Doom Patrol, the final episode. So we pick up right where we left off in the last episode. They have returned from the time vortex. Immortus is very, very pissed, flying all around like a freaking bird. So the Doom Patrol is kind of weighing their options. Okay, do we fight the Butts first or do we fight Immortus? Well, for me, I'm Butts or an immortal deity. I think I'm gonna take my chance with the Butts, but it's not also I don't know. I don't know. If you would ask me how would I like to die between these two options, I wouldn't pick either. But I'm if I really had to choose, I guess it'll be interesting to say Joseph died by Butts. It'd be interesting. So they're about to they decide to do battle against Immortus instead. Jane uses her new kaleidoscope powers, which is basically all of the powers from all the personalities fuse into Jane now being primary now, fully, no takeovers, no anything else. She's still kind of struggling to use these new powers because, Jane never used these powers. It was the other personas. So she's trying her best. Plus, Cyborg whips out this really cool cross-hilt looking lightsaber. But sadly to say to be, again, it's an immortal being. These weapons aren't going to do shit to them. And Cliff and Larry are just standing there in fisticuffs mode. They're ready to fight. I'm bro, get in there and fight the freaking immortal being. Oh yeah, I forgot. During this entire thing, Rouget escapes. Again, she just has this cue to I'm gonna run away. But this, instead of like running away like a coward, she runs away to Rita, catching her up on everything that happened and pleading to her like, we need your help. Like, even though you're old, we need your help. And Rita's like, fine, I guess I'll go help the team. Which I'm like, Rita, what the hell are you gonna do? You're old. Like, okay, like, fine, the serviceable, withdrawals there. So eventually the Doom Patrol's getting their ass whooped by Immortus. Then the Butts come in, ready to like, kick some ass. And for some reason, they're about to kill the Doom Patrol. They're like, ready to go, like, demolish their faces off. Then the Doctor and the Good Butts show up, start singing a catchy show tune, which was the original intention for the Butts. So they subconsciously remember the song, so they're able to like, pause their killing function and just revert to singing. Eventually, Immortus gets jealous about the whole musical act in front of her. Is like, no, I am the main star. This is my show, and I'm gonna sing my song. So she does. The Butts decide to sing along with her, and then the Doom Patrol realize, oh shit, this could work out. Maybe they'll kill each other eventually, maybe. So they start kind of like, pushing the Butts toward the songs, and then it works. So the four escape the theater. At the same time as Rouget and Rita are coming up, which I'm like, damn, Rita and Rouget ran pretty fast. Like, I'm like, unless it took like an hour. I'm like, because like that distance between the house and the town is like, it's not a walkable distance. It really is not. So I'm like, kudos to like, Rouget for having such fast feet. So all six of them watch the theater from the outside, watching it like transcend in glow and aura. Rouget said reinforcements are here, and then the entire building disappears. And I was actually confused because I thought this was Danny. Like, I thought Danny came out of nowhere and just absorbed Immortus and the Butts into their sub universe. That's what I was assuming. But we'll get an explanation on that in a bit. So it's the next day. Everyone's celebrating with a big old breakfast feast, just to celebrate their victory. Which, again, like, did they really do anything? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, they just kind of stood there, did a couple cool poses, couple CG shots, and then, the Butts kind of took care of the business. And, of course, Cliff's just like, whoa, fuck it, we're still the heroes here. We saved the day. We stopped the Butt-pocalypse, and we defeated Immortus, which I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't really do it. Like, there's no like, again, the number one rule in media, until you see a dead body, the character is presumed alive until the writers decide to showcase, oh no, this person's officially dead. So they're about to start another round of celebration, and then Larry brings up an interesting point. It's like, well, if it wasn't for us causing the Butt-pocalypse, causing Immortus' human counterpart to be in the same time position that she was in when she fell into the crevice, none of this would have happened. And again, like, Larry is not totally wrong there. But they're not really to acknowledge that just quite yet, as Rita is, trying to, like, muster up her last remaining strength to, just enjoy the victory breakfast, but she's feeling a little weak, but she's still acting all, tough and mild to say, it's fine, don't worry, I'm still good to go. Like, I'm still the same Rita. Pour me a double, and just give me a minute. I'm gonna go take a quick trip to my room. So she goes up there, and the rest just converse about the whole battle and everything. They talk about Cyborg's new robotic tattoos that's on his robotic parts. And, again, since Victor had more control over this iteration of Cyborg, he put some mementos on his body to kind of remind him of where he came from. Signs from his parents, from his friends, from the Doom Patrol, so that no matter where they are in the world, or no matter where he is in the world, he'll always have, like, insignias of them to, like, keep them close to heart, which is respectful, mind you. Eventually, there's a knock on the door. Apparently, it is none other than Immortus. She is not dead. And I'm like, oh, great. We're going to have a final battle in the Doom Patrol manner. Is this where we're going to go with? No, apparently, she was so impressed with the Butts' performance to sing that she took them on a time loop, and they traveled to the future, apparently, where Immortus is super popular, and the Butts and her are like a class act. They've achieved 10 platinums. They're like, hot right now wherever the hell they are in the future. And she's just like, she kind of missed the Doom Patrol like peoples, which I'm like, you trying to kill them less than 24 hours ago. What do you mean you missed them? I know, timey-wimey stuff, like it's not really applied 100%. Also, apparently the the human identity within Immortus's overall being has officially taken over the main conscience. So like, she doesn't want to take over the world. She wants to take over the world in style by becoming the hot thing. Which I'm like, you know what? It's kind of the safest way to take over the world if you know what I'm saying, At. Um, but considering the fact that they have some up and downs and everything that happened, like she wants to make amends by giving them toenail clippings, which I'm just like, what the fuck what kind of creepy fetish is this sort of shit she's on? No, apparently, these toenail clippings contain essence of her immortality. So that means if they eat one of the toenails, they will regain their immortality back. Which I'm like, that is the most disgusting thing on the planet. But everyone's just totally game for this. So Jane gobs it down. She becomes young again. Cliff gobs it down. He becomes sort of young again. We can't really tell. Larry takes it off screen. Rouget grabs one immediately and starts running upstairs. And Mortis says goodbye. Which I'm like, that's it. That's the whole Immortus conflict. I mean, okay, interesting. So everyone's kind of celebrating the fact they're all young again. Everything's gonna be well. They're gonna get Rita back. It's gonna be the Doom Patrol can strike again. They'll continue their missions. But however, Rouget yells at a mighty roar or a mighty cry. So they rush upstairs. Rita's gone. She passed away in her sleep. So like everyone's just kind of dumbfounded. They're kind of shocked again because again she was just talking with them like less than 30 minutes ago. Which again it's like it's death. Like you never really know when it's gonna pop in. Like it just happens. And I say that because I lived through it with my grandma. Like I talked to her 1 minute, 1 hour, and then the next hour she was gone. So you really can never. You can't really know with these sort of things. So they're all like obviously in denial. They're like, wait, we can go and with this magical, this magical artifact sort of thing, we can go back, we can go to the afterlife and get Rita's soul back and put it back in the body. So we can still bring her back. It's not over yet. And obviously everyone's like, on board with the plan. They're ready to go out there and get Rita back. Obviously they need an item that Rita's close with so they can use it to connect it to the spirit world. So Larry goes downstairs to find something. He can't really find it right away. And Rita's ghost appears because obviously this is a house full of sex ghosts. So Rita being a ghost right away, of course that makes absolute sense, mind you. Immediately, so Rita kind of tells Larry, it's okay. You don't have to look for an item because I don't want to come back. I want to stay dead. Obviously, Larry's in denial. He's like, no, we can bring you back. Like, we got the toenail back, so we're gonna bring you back to life, and then we're gonna give you the toenail, and then boom, you're just ready to come back. We can resume our lives together. But Rita said, well, I did some thinking, I did some soul searching, and I think that's not the best approach to take. I think we should take advantage of my death and just move on with life, continue as forward now without me. So she calls in one last team meeting between all the Doom Patrol members, and she sits down and talks to them and explains that since they've been immortal, they've always had to rely on each other in a way because again they can't really form real friendships outside of this little group because no one's gonna fucking be friends with them. Either they look different or they act different, and in this day and age, in this society, it's very hard to find people that is willing to accept it. Which again, that totally makes sense. But it's not even just that. Like they've been part of as much as they've been part of these 4 crises, and throughout the show's history. In a way, they kind of started it in some way. It's all been related to, Mr. Nobody wasn't really related to that. It was kind of Niles' thing. But, afterwards, it's been somewhat connected to all that. It's been connected to them. They almost caused the end of the world a couple times, let's just say that. And, that their presence together can attract the weirdness and the energy to, attract more crises to bring upon another world-ending incident. And they've been lucky a couple times that they managed to avoid it, but it's never been really it's never really been the solution, mind you, to make it all work. So, and Rita in a way has thought that her life's purpose has been really to push these people into obviously they've been their leader since Niles' death and everything, kind of keeping the group together in one shape or form. And now that she's gone, maybe this is the opportunity to have everyone begin to separate, to grow, and like, become the best versions they're meant to be, because they got a second chance at a full life, because they got their immortality back, so they're able to, like, really live life again. And that she thinks this is the perfect opportunity for them to split the Doom Patrol up, and like, allow them to follow their own solo paths, like allow them to, like, be their own people and like figure themselves out, and they still have more shit to figure out. Obviously Cliff's like, nope, we can bring you back and everything, we can, like, we have a plan. And Rita's like, no, like, I'm done, like, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to, like, pass over to the next life, like, experience what is next for me, what is next in my, existence, her soul spiritual existence, while the rest of them can, like, actually fulfilling new lives, away from the manor, away from, like, the idea of what Niles has, like, created for them in the last few decades. And honestly, as much as, like, that is a very powerful sentiment, that she's literally, like, now pushing them away, like, yeah, being together is not going to make you grow. And that makes sense. Like, sometimes you'll have groups growing up where, like, you've done as much as you can with them, now it's time to, like, move on your own, and, like, find what is the next thing for you, what is the next avenue for you to take. And everyone slowly starts accepting that. We're like, you're right, we need to, like, leave and, like, eventually become better people. And everyone's on board, and Rita gives them one final mission to burn her body in style, like, in, like, with her memento, what items that they believe, like, represent Rita. And when they actually get to the funeral, it's like, they don't really fully, like, they didn't really talk to Rita that much to understand really what she liked, because half of them really just brought stuff. It's like, yeah, this is embarrassing. This has nothing to do with me. You just grabbed a random piece of a piece of, of an item on the house, and just passing along as me. Like, okay, sure. So they burn her up, but how her blobby powers are still inside of her, so it starts, like, inflating, like, because, like, it's a rubbery material, and it starts growing, and Rita just gets embarrassed, like, yeah, this is not how I imagined my death to finally be, how it's all to end. And even, like, Rouget had to go, like, pop it open just so that, they could start truly burning fully, which, again, like, was that the way? It's definitely the Doom Patrol way to do a funeral, very much so. It is a very interesting approach. So Rita's gone. So they decided to spend the night together, now that Rita's ghost has, like, fully moved on to the afterlife, to watch her first movie, like, symbolically, like, you just witnessed the last time you will ever hear your friend alive, so now let's go back to the first time that anyone could ever, like, hear her. So again, another Now and Then reference from the Beatles. That song was so fucking good. And they watch it together. They watched it a couple times during that night. When they all wake up the next morning, Cliff's gone. Cliff was already packing his stuff, getting ready to leave, because he wants to go see Rory. Like, he's got his immortality back. He's kind of ready to go, kind of ready to start being a grandpa finally, to be the person he's been longing to be for so long. And this is not crazy Jane. This is just Jane as a person. Where, like, she is in control now. She's, like, fully enabled with her emotion. Where, like, she totally understands what Cliff is doing. Is she heartbroken that he was about to leave them without saying goodbye? Yeah, it does suck. But, like, at the end of the day, she totally understands where Cliff is coming from, and she understands, like, yeah, you want to go, and you want to go be with him. That's totally fine. Like, go be a grandpa. Go. You've done your part here. It's time for you to go. And, obviously, these two having the most thorough relationship and the most thorough dynamic between any pairing in the show, in my opinion, it makes sense they get the goodbye scene together. It makes sense. And, as much as it's going to hurt Jane, because, again, like, similarly back in season 1, she's always thought of Cliff as, like, a father that she kind of wanted, like, a father that she never thought she would have again. And, it's going to hurt to say goodbye, of course, obviously, with any, maternal parental figure. But, like, she knows at the end of the day, this is what he wants to do. And, she bids him farewell. Cliff drives away. They do, like, a middle finger salute to wrap it up. And, yeah, that was their goodbye forever. Back inside the manor, Larry goes back up to his room, kind of like, now that the Doom Patrol's over, they're gonna kind of break apart soon. What is next for him? What's gonna be next for him? And he talks to negative baby, kind of talking about, like, yeah, what is next for us? Like, what do we do now? We got all the time in the world now to do anything we want together. And they decide, let's go find 104. He's got to be somewhere out there. Like there's got to be some remnant of him. So they decide to leave the manor, go out looking for him, however long that's going to take. He wants to find him. He's in love. So he heads off into the unknown while Jane's looking for apartments. Which I think, like, Jane, you have no money, you have no source of income, and unless you're going to rob banks again, I don't think you're going to be able to afford anything, but, like, this is my opinion, mind you. Victor's ready to leave. Somehow, off screen, they just, like, covered the entire house in, like, the traditional, like, they're about to leave, but they're not taking anything, so they leave all these white blankets on top of it to, like, preserve the dust and everything, which is, again, who the fuck did this? I don't really know, but Vic's ready to leave. He knows Rouget just kind of like moping around, and Rouget just plans on just staying at the manor for the rest of her life because she doesn't really have anywhere else to be. But Vic decides to give her a little bit of words of encouragement before he heads off, where that the future is still worth trying to take a step foot forward and like trying to figure that out. Put an effort to like figure out what is next for you. Because again, like last episode, he got to see a glimpse into his future and found that he got to mentor kids and like actually train them to like actually learn how to do some like world saving shit. So I'm like, he's actually got a future that he actually is proud of, like wanting to lead. And maybe Rouget should do the same too, not in the same avenue, but like go out there, explore something you really want to do, and give it a chance. And Rouget's like, you know what, I'll do that. I'm gonna do that. I'll go do that. So Jane is still looking for apartments. She hears something from downstairs. The Doom Patrol alert is back on again, so she decides to shut it off. So it's like the team's over. So she heads downstairs. She finds Casey there, ironically. Apparently after, which again is one of my critiques of this episode. Like Dorothy does not show up. Like, as much as you can say like, oh, Dorothy wasn't part of the main characters. Like I understand that part, but like. The whole reason why the Doom Patrol exists was because so Niles can live longer than Dorothy, so that she can always stay in check. And Dorothy is just not there. Like, she's literally there in the big fantasy episode, and afterwards she's just not there for the rest of the season. Which I'm like, why? Like, was it just like a scheduling conflict, or was it just like we didn't have any point? But like, she literally said the episode before. That episode, like, I gotta stay and help my friends. We're in some world-ending crisis here, and she just ends up disappearing. It's like, again, where did she go? There wasn't even an explanation on screen. It was just like we had a couple references to her, but like in the general context of her existence, not really into like where she is right now. Is she like trying to form like a plan B or something? Like is she gonna have an endgame moment where like she's gonna bring all Danish civilians to fight Immortus? Like. I didn't know, and I'm like, okay, she just is just a throwaway line where like Casey is told by Dorothy, hey, the manor should be empty now. I think there's a spaceship in there, so if you want to go take it, go take it. Like if you want to go explore the world out there. But Casey's just going to take the spaceship, go away for a while, kind of just try to figure herself out a little bit. Jane thinking about it, like like, well, I need a place to live. It's kind of spacious. The scenery is going to be beautiful to paint in, so Jane decides to tag along with Casey, and obviously, again, considering their fantasy episode where they kind of had a thing for each other, which again, kind of felt weird because like it was kind of rushed. Mind you, it wasn't like a proper naturally developed thing, but we'll get to more about this in a second. But without that being said, everyone has headed off from the Doom Patrol Manor, kind of like ready to embark on what's next. Vic heads over to the school where his friend's teaching at, ready to begin teaching these kids, the same kids from the Flash Forward. And obviously they're questioning, like, why are you here? Like, you're a superhero. Why do you care about the little guys? Like, trying to, teach us about the world of cybernetics. And he's like, well, this is important too. This is just as important as saving the world, which, I respect that. Vic is trying to be his own superhero. He's not trying to be something else. He just wants to be himself and be his genuine self. Even if that is teaching kids for X amount of months for no money. Larry goes off to the ocean. He finds 104's box. He opens it up in the sky, and he appears. And obviously, he's just concerned, like, what's going on? Why are you taking off your bandages? Like, what are we doing? What's going on? And Larry's just like, Keith's gonna create a new. That's the freaking baby's name, Keith. He's gonna create us a whole world. so that we can like actually have a chance to be a couple, to be together. And so they head off in there. That's the sun analogy from the whole season. We're like, yeah, that's how it kind of goes. He heads off into the unknown to get to start his new life with 104. Afterwards, we catch back up to Jane and Cassie in space, where they're enjoying the home life in a way, spaceship life, ship life, whatever you want to call it. They find a cat in space, which I'm like, interesting. How did you find a cat in space? I don't know. And they have a moment, so they kiss, which again, I don't think it was earned. But you know what? Happy for Jane. Happy for Jane. She got a happy ending. Rita in the afterlife finds her partner from the Sisterhood of Dada. Yeah, so they reunite, they reconnect, they kiss, so they're ready to like, pick up their relationship back where they left off before Rouget kind of fucked things over for them. As for Rouget herself, she returns back to the Ant form just to burn it off, just to like do like a burn offs like off screen to save some money, mind you. And I think the most heartbreaking moment was Cliff. Cliff got his moment with his kid. He got to feel his head, got to get bitten by him. He was happy, ready to like kind of take him around, start being a grandpa, but his Parkinson's comes back. Obviously, the kid gets scared. He tells his daughter the truth. They're like, yeah, I think I'm dying. Like, not because of the immortality, but because like, my brain is finally telling me to stop. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So, because I forgot to mention this one before. So when Immortus was back with the toenails, she gave Cliff one extra item, which was like this weird prism crystal looking thing, and she tells Cliff, "You'll understand the purpose of it eventually, but like right now, I'm just not going to tell you shit." So yeah, so we catch back up with them, and they go back to the he's in the car with the kid, and while the mom's working on the car. And he's kind of like, you're just having a moment with him, and like, just like, again, fascinated by the fact that he's a grandpa now. And then he looks at the prism, and he looks at his grandson, and he starts seeing an older version of him. So like the prism, like in a way, Immortus knew that Cliff was gonna die. So, but he obviously she knew that he wanted to live out his rest of his days watching him grow up, but he's not gonna have a chance to. So the prism was given to him so he could see his future, the baby's future. And honestly, again, it's one of those. It's a symbolic message where like generational differences, generational similarities. What comes around, what comes around comes around. Where he witnesses Rory growing up, learning how to drive, going to prom, getting his prom date pregnant, abandons them, halfway through his daughter's upbringing, moves back in with his mom. His mom is disappointed with him and is very sick. His mom dies, and eventually, similar to Cliff, he comes back into his daughter's life, and his daughter has a kid of his own, so he's now a grandpa, similar to where Cliff's at. So I'm like, it's literally coming full circle where like Cliff and Rory are like the same in a way speaking, and as much as like I'm pretty sure like no one would feel comfortable with the fact of like, yeah, my kid's gonna be a runaway dad and just do the same thing I'm gonna do. Like he's not totally against it because like that's not what he been through. But like at the end of the day, if someone in the family manages to like have happiness in a way, regardless how long it takes, he's gonna take it. So Cliff sees finishes the prism. His daughter like asks him what's going on. Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I am totally okay with everything. And he dies. His brain shuts off. His body shuts off. And he goes. And that was the end of Doom Patrol. Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like this ending was like, it is not your traditional like full happy endings for everyone. Like obviously Larry, Cyborg, Jean got the happy ending. Rita in a sense, everyone but Cliff. But in a way, Cliff did get his happy ending. He got this experience being a grandpa. He got the experience of like being a father again. He got the experience like they all got to experience what they longed to at the beginning of the show to now where like they're accomplishing it. They're actually in much better places. They're gonna be on the precipice of these new adventures, mind you, and again, was everything perfect? Absolutely not. Some of the setup for some of the happy endings were not totally perfect. It was kind of like, we kind of had to skip around just to get to that, the big awe moment, which I'm not fully against over. Like, again, like, it is the cards that dealt with, like, yeah, this is the final episode. You kind of need to set it up, go big or go home. And, like, they did, and they did their job. It really did. I think, Rita being, like, like, her speech at the end, like, kind of was poignant. Like, it wasn't like this dramatic, like, fully emotional, but, like, it made enough sense. It was like kind of like the most normal conversation this group has had. And again, it just comes to show like how far they've come, how much they've grown, and the fact that they're all here for one last time, and just to say goodbye and everything. It really does suck. And again, like, them all getting their own versions of happy ending. We're like, it's not like they get to live happily ever after together in the manor. No, they went out to do their own things. They're going off on their new adventures. However long those adventures are going to take them next, they got the entire rest of their life to do so. And it's going to be interesting to say at least how it all plays out for them. Off screen, obviously, but it hurts. It really hurts because, like, I really love this cast. I really love these characters, and they're the most fucked up. They're the most, like, weirdest, the most, like, very much way out of right field, out of place for a DC TV show. But at the end of the day, it works. Like, they made it work, and I'm very happy to say that, and I'm very excited to see, in like my imagination where they could go next. But like, and for this was the right ending for this show. It accomplished everything. It made sense with the characters. It made sense with the story. I wish for more. Obviously, you're never gonna get everything you want in a series finale. But at the end of the day, this did its purpose. It ended the ship off right, and that was the closing chapter for the Doom Patrol. And that's the last time we will probably ever see them again. So with that being said, I'm giving this series finale 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it a lot. I really, really did. I can't wait to see how things progress, from here in terms of, like, in life. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the series finale of Doom Patrol. I would love to hear your comments down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, having reviewed every single episode of Doom Patrol throughout the last 3 to 4 years. If you want to see what we're also doing besides these Doom Patrol episode reviews, next week we'll be doing a Doom Patrol Season 4 review, non-spoilers edition, for anyone who has yet to see the final season of Doom Patrol. So that'll be next week, and that will wrap up our Doom Patrol content in terms of, like, a much more rigorous scheduling programming. We will return in the future to do definitive reviews for 2, 3, and this season again. So I will see these characters again. It'll just be in the context of, like, I'll know everything, or I'll know more of their journey, so, like, I can see how far they come, how the season, like, simmered for so long. I can't wait. So we'll be back with Season 2 next year, but, like, for now, this is the end of, like, new content. This is the last time we will ever see these characters again. After that, we'll be doing more cool stuff. After this, we'll be doing, we got a How I Met Your Father Season 2 review finally coming out. We got a One Piece Season 1 review finally coming out. These like, it's been so crazy with all the scheduling changes and everything that there's been reviews that have been ready to go. It's just, I just decided to hold off on them because, like, we're just in the middle. Like, we were in the middle of so many things. Also, the strike's over. Hooray. So I'm like, that's also kind of a big relief too. Like, okay, that's finally over. The cast was able to finally talk about the finale, which I'm like, so many other shows didn't get to do that this year. And, like, that fucking sucked. But, hopefully this all paves the way for an even better, generation of television down the road. So I can't wait to see any of that. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring the bell and follow us on social media for more. But until we see each other again, for all you members of the Fan Patrol out there, my hair's a mess, sorry. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, this is what, I don't comb my hair when I put on this mask, so my hair's a fucking mess right now. Again, thank you so much for all of your support, for watching every review, whether it was from 2 to 3 to 4, or all of our reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you'll stick around, maybe watch some of our other content. We have a lot of other videos we've done, a lot of other reviews we've done, but this was it. If this is the end of the road, if this was all you were interested in, I bid you farewell. Thank you so much. I hope the rest of your lives are great. Just you continue onwards on your journeys. Maybe we'll cross over again some point in the future. Who knows? But for now, again, thank you so much for watching. So please stay safe out there. Please be good to each other. Thank you so much for watching. But until that day we meet again, peace out.